On Thanksgiving Day 2021, a 22-year-old mother posted on Facebook about how excited she was for her baby daughter's first Thanksgiving. Just hours later, she would be dead, stabbed 58 times in a locked bedroom by the man she trusted most. Before we dive into this heartbreaking case, if you're new to shadow crime, please hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss a story. These victims deserve to have their stories told, and your support helps us keep their memories alive.
A grieving family is asking for the public's help in finding the killer of 22-year-old Dejah Jenkins-Minus. Police have said nothing about a suspect in the case since her body was discovered on Friday. WBZ's Tiffany Chan just spoke with the victim's mother and joins us live now with that story. Tiffany?
Yeah, and the Jenkins-Minus family has no idea why someone would want to kill this 22-year-old woman the day after Thanksgiving. And with it happening so close to the holidays, the pain is just unbearable.
Just come forward. I'm not angry. I'm more mad that they won't come forward.
A mother's tearful plea for justice just days after 22-year-old Dejah Jenkins-Minus was found brutally murdered in Lowell.
I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what, but I knew something was wrong.
It was Latoya Minus' motherly instinct that led Lowell police to this home where her body was found Friday morning.
They told me that my daughter, that she was stabbed.
Did they say by who?
No, I don't know yet.
The Middlesex District Attorney's Office is investigating, but tell us the killing doesn't appear to be random. While Minus has an idea of who might be responsible, she can't fathom why someone would want to kill this young mother, who, telling by this candlelight vigil, was so deeply loved.
She's very outgoing. She's loving. She's a very uplifted young lady.
Minus is now desperate for answers and has this message for her daughter's killer.
They just need to turn themselves in. I'm lost. I'm hurt. I'm numb. I'm angry. And I want justice for my baby and my grandbaby.
The victim's 2-month-old daughter is being cared for by her mother. Lowell police have yet to announce any arrests in connection to...
Now, let me tell you about Dejah Jenkins-Minus. Dejah was just starting her life. She'd recently graduated high school and had big dreams for her future. Friends describe her as goal-driven, hardworking, and absolutely devoted to her family. When she had her daughter in September 2021, everything changed for her in the best way possible. She was determined to give this baby girl everything she never had. Her last Facebook post said it all. "My daughter will never need for anything, can't wait to celebrate her first Thanksgiving tomorrow." But here's where the story gets complicated. The father of her baby was Leonard Robinson, a 22-year-old from Lowell, Massachusetts. Their relationship was messy, one of those on-again, off-again situations that everyone around him could see was toxic. Leonard wasn't even sure the baby was his. He'd been posting on social media, questioning paternity, talking about getting a DNA test, and openly expressing anger toward Dejah. Think about that for a second. Your child is 2 months old, and instead of stepping up, the father is publicly humiliating you online, making you prove that he's a dad. Dejah lived in Boston with her family, while Leonard was staying alone in a house on Lewin Street in Lowell. Despite everything, despite the public disrespect and the doubts, Dejah still maintained contact with him. Maybe she hoped he'd come around. Maybe she wanted her daughter to have a father. We'll never know exactly what kept her tied to him. On the night of November 24th, going into Thanksgiving morning, something happened. Dejah and Leonard exchanged text messages. Around 1 a.m., Dejah made a decision that would cost her everything. She packed up her 2-month-old baby, got in her car, and drove from Boston to Leonard's place in Lowell. Her family was expecting her back later that day. They planned a whole Thanksgiving celebration, the baby's first. Dejah's mother had probably spent days preparing, imagining her granddaughter in a cute little Thanksgiving outfit, taking pictures, making memories. But Dejah never came home. When hours passed with no word, her family started to panic. You know that feeling when something's wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it? That's what Dejah's mother, Latoya, was experiencing. She tried calling, No answer. She tried texting. Nothing. So LaToya did what any desperate mother would do in 2021. She used Find My iPhone to track her daughter's location. And where did that phone ping? Leonard's house on Lewin Street in Lowell. Now, put yourself in LaToya's shoes for a moment. Your daughter isn't answering. She's got a 2-month-old baby with her, and her location is at her unstable boyfriend's house. What would you do? LaToya drove to that house, and she stayed there all night long. Can you imagine? Sitting in your car in the cold, watching a house, praying your daughter walks out that door with your grandbaby safe and sound. But morning came and still nothing. No movement. No sign of Dejah. No sign of the baby. Finally, LaToya called 911 and asked for a welfare check. But here's what gets me about this family. They couldn't wait. A family member went to the house and found a window open. They climbed through because something in their gut told them this couldn't wait for police procedure. They found a bedroom door locked from the inside. They kicked it down, and there she was. Dejah was lying on the ground next to an air mattress. Her neck was fractured. She'd been stabbed 58 times. 58. Let that number sink in for a moment. That's not a crime of passion where someone loses control for a few seconds. That's rage. That's sustained, deliberate violence. Each one of those stab wounds represented a choice to keep going, to keep hurting her, to make sure she didn't survive. But here's the small miracle in this nightmare. The baby was there, and she was completely unharmed, safe, untouched. Whatever monster came out in Leonard that night, somehow that innocent child was spared. Now, let's talk about Leonard Robinson, because his behavior after Dejah's murder tells you everything you need to know. Police arrested him on November 29th in Boston. When they first questioned him, he claimed he hadn't seen Dejah in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. But investigators weren't buying it, and they had receipts. Leonard was already in trouble with the law. He was facing gun charges out of Suffolk Superior Court, and because of those charges, he was wearing a GPS monitoring bracelet. You know, one of those ankle monitors that tracks everywhere you go. That bracelet became his worst enemy because it told a story Leonard didn't want told. The GPS data showed Leonard was at his Lewin Street home until about 2 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day. Then suddenly, he traveled to Dorchester, arriving around 3 p.m. And here's the kicker. At 4:56 p.m., the GPS signal cut off. He'd removed the bracelet. Why would an innocent man cut off his court-ordered monitoring device on the same day his girlfriend turns up dead in his locked bedroom? But wait, it gets worse. A neighbor saw Leonard in the driver's seat of Dejah's car outside his house around 1:50 p.m. on Thanksgiving. Surveillance footage confirmed the car left about 10 minutes later. So Leonard took Dejah's car, drove it away from the scene, and then tried to disappear. When confronted with this evidence, Leonard changed his story. Now suddenly he remembered that Dejah had come to his home on Thursday, but he claimed he didn't let her in and she just left.
A 22-year-old man from Lowell facing a judge today. He is accused in the murder of his sometimes girlfriend. Investigators say the young man stabbed her in his home on Thanksgiving Day. 7's Victoria Price is live in Boston with more.
And Kim, it was the victim's absence from a Thanksgiving dinner here in Boston that prompted her family and then police to search her boyfriend's home in Lowell.
Cromwell versus Leonard Robinson.
22-year-old Leonard Robinson in Lowell District Court Tuesday, accused in the Thanksgiving murder of his on-again, off-again girlfriend.
This was a tragic death that was caused by him on Thanksgiving Day.
Prosecutors say the family of Dejah Jenkins-Minus became worried when she didn't show up to Thanksgiving dinner in Boston. They tracked her phone to Robinson's home in Lowell, but after finding no sign of them, called police for a welfare check. While waiting for police, investigators say one of the suspect's relatives climbed in through a window to find 22-year-old Jenkins-Minus dead on a bedroom floor.
Really, Leonard? She drove to your house at 1 a.m. with a 2-month-old baby. You didn't let her in, and she just left? Then how did she end up dead in your locked bedroom? How did her car end up with you driving it? The lies were falling apart faster than he could tell them. Police searched Leonard's house and found a knife that appeared to be the murder weapon. They had his GPS data. They had witness statements. They had surveillance footage. They had his changing stories. The evidence was overwhelming, but Leonard pleaded not guilty when he was arraigned on November 30th, 2021. The judge ordered him held without bail, which honestly was the only appropriate decision. This man had already shown he was willing to cut off his monitoring device and run. He'd already proven what he was capable of doing to someone he claimed to care about. Now here's what bothers me about this case, and I want you to think about this with me. Dejah went to that house in the middle of the night. She packed up her baby and drove there after exchanging texts with Leonard. What did those messages say? Was he apologizing? Was he finally ready to acknowledge his daughter? Did he promise her something, some hope of being a family? We don't know the content of those texts, but something convinced Dejah to make that drive when she should have been home safe with her family. And this is what makes domestic violence so insidious, isn't it? The cycle of abuse doesn't look like constant violence. It's the good moments mixed in with the bad that keep victims hoping things will change. Leonard had been publicly humiliating Dejah on social media, questioning whether her baby was his, expressing anger toward her. Any outsider could see this relationship was dangerous. But when you're in it, when you share a child with someone, when there are moments where they make you believe they can be better, it clouds your judgment. Dejah's family has had to live with unimaginable pain. LaToya lost her daughter in the most brutal way possible. She spent that whole night sitting outside that house, probably sensing something was terribly wrong, but hoping she was paranoid. That's trauma that never leaves you. And now she's raising her granddaughter, a little girl who will grow up knowing her mother was murdered by her father before she was even old enough to form memories. The court case dragged on, as these things often do. Leonard sat in jail waiting for trial, while Dejah's family waited for justice.
58 stab wounds and a broken neck with signs that she tried to fight back. As prosecutors described in graphic detail, her family looked on in grief and disbelief. They tell 7 News, Dejah was a great daughter, sister, mother, niece, cousin, granddaughter, and a friend. And we are all hurting and in pain. We want justice for Dejah and her baby as well. Investigators say the suspect and victim's 2-year-old daughter was later found elsewhere, safe and sound, but with blood on her diaper bag. Prosecutors suggest the violence may have been prompted by the baby.
By the defendant, questioning whether he was the father of the child, questioning whether he should have a DNA test, and also stating that he was mad at Dejah, and I would suggest providing motive for why there may be anger.
Now, at the time of his arrest, Robinson was on release for unrelated weapons charges. Investigators say he had been wearing a GPS monitor, which...
Month after month, hearing after hearing, reliving the worst day of their lives over and over again in legal proceedings. There's no closure in that. There's just endless waiting and reopening of wounds that never get a chance to heal. Think about what that family has endured. Every court date means getting dressed, driving to the courthouse, sitting in the same room as the man who destroyed their family. It means listening to lawyers argue technicalities while Dejah's absent from every holiday, every birthday, every milestone her daughter reaches. The baby's first steps, first words, first day of school. Dejah should have been there for all of it. And here's something that makes this even more tragic. Dejah's case became just another statistic in Massachusetts' 2021 domestic violence fatality report. One name among many. But she wasn't a statistic. She was a 22-year-old woman with dreams, with goals, with a daughter she loved more than anything. She posted about how her baby would never need for anything. And then hours later, that baby lost the one person who loved her most in this world. The system failed Dejah too. Leonard was already facing gun charges. He was already on GPS monitoring because the courts recognized he was a risk. But that bracelet didn't protect Dejah. Those pending charges didn't stop him. He was able to lure her to his house in the middle of the night. And when she got there, no amount of court supervision could save her from what he decided to do. What do we do with cases like this? How do we protect women who are tangled up with dangerous men, especially when children are involved? Dejah probably felt obligated to maintain some relationship with Leonard because he was her daughter's father. Society tells us that kids need both parents, that we should try to make it work. That family is everything. But what happens when one of those parents is a threat? When staying connected to them means risking your life? I want you to think about the people in your life. If you know someone in a relationship that worries you, someone whose partner publicly disrespects them, questions them, shows signs of that controlling rage, don't stay silent. I know it's uncomfortable. I know they might push back and defend their partner. But Dejah's family would give anything to have had one more chance to convince her not to get in that car. And if you're in a relationship like that yourself, please hear me. Those social media posts where your partner humiliates you, that's not normal. The on-again, off-again cycle where they push you away and pull you back, that's not love. The feeling that you have to prove yourself, prove your loyalty, prove your child's paternity, you deserve better. Your children deserve better. There are resources, hotlines, shelters. Leaving is hard and it's scary, but staying can cost you everything. As of now, years after Dejah's murder, her family is still waiting. The wheels of justice turn slowly, but they're hoping for accountability, for Leonard to face the full consequences of what he did that Thanksgiving morning. So let me ask you this. What makes someone capable of stabbing another person 58 times? Is it pure rage in the moment, or is it something darker that's been building? Can we ever really know what someone is capable of until it's too late? And how do we break these cycles of violence before more young mothers end up as stories on channels like this one instead of living their lives, raising their babies, celebrating holidays with their families? If this case affected you, if Dejah's story matters to you, hit that like button and share this video. Her memory deserves to be more than a forgotten headline. Subscribe to Shadow Crime and turn on notifications because we'll keep telling these stories. Keep saying these names. Keep demanding justice for victims like Dejah Jenkins-Minus. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. And let's keep this conversation going. These stories are hard to hear, but they're necessary. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.